everyone. Today let us start with the paper 7 unit 3. In the next unit I have completed unit 1 and unit 2. Today we'll be starting with unit 3. In that you will study about rickettsia and spirochetes. These are the two groups of bacteria which causes several diseases to humans as well as some of the animals. So the topic is introduction to rickettsia and spirochetes. It comes in paper 6.7 applied zoology, your 6th semester zoology syllabus, CBCS syllabus. Okay, first we'll see what is rickettsia. Rickettsia, these are a diverse collection of obligatory intracellular parasites. Okay, so obligatory ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, so these are a type of animals or species or bacteria which cannot complete its life cycle without exploiting the host. Okay, so we call those as obligatory. And intracellular means which are living inside the cell of the eukaryotes. They live inside the cell of eukaryotes. Okay, so they are gram negative bacteria. So what is gram negative and gram positive bacteria? Bacteria is usually divided into two types, gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Gram positive bacteria, they have a thick peptidoglycan layer and no outer lipid membrane. Gram negative bacteria, they have a thin peptidoglycan layer and they have outer lipid membrane. Okay, so these are the differences between gram positive and gram negative bacteria. These are the gram negative bacteria found in ticks, lice, fleas, mites, chiggers and some of the mammals. The geographical distribution of these zoonosis, I told you what is zoonosis in the last classes. Okay, these are determined by the infected arthropod. Usually it is caused by the insects which comes in the phylum Arthropoda. Which are most rickettsial species are the reservoir host. Okay, most of the insects which are living in Arthropoda phylum are rickettsial species, and these are the reservoir host for the rickettsial infectious diseases. This is the diagram of a eukaryotic cell. Okay, and you can see inside the cell you can see the bacteria. These are the rickettsia bacteria, gram negative bacteria. Okay, and this is the cell inside the microscope. Okay, bacterial cell, and these are the ticks which are the vectors for this particular disease. This genus consists of two antigenically defined groups. First is spotted fever group and next is typhus group. We'll see what is spotted fever group. Okay, so spotted fever, it is a tick-borne disease of skin caused by the bacteria of genus Rickettsia. These are also called Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Okay, typhus is a group of infectious diseases that include epidemic typhus, scrub typhus and murine typhus, and the symptoms include fever, headache, rashes on the skin. These are the common symptoms. Okay, typhus groups, which are related to, as I said you, scrub typhus, rickettsia and these different typhus group, they differ in lacking lipopolysaccharide. Okay, it is a polysaccharide present inside the cell, then peptidoglycan and a slime layer. Okay, and are related to genus Orantia. It is a genus in the bacterial group. Then, so this typhus include genera Rickettsia, Ehrlichia, Orantia and Coxiella. So these zoonotic pathogens causes the infection that disseminate in the blood to many organs. Okay, usually the infection spread through the blood because of the infections. Bacteria enter in the blood vessels, and through the blood vessels it reaches to the different organs, and it causes the effect to the different organs and leads to the liver infection, kidney problem, heart problem and etc. So this Rickettsia species causes these disease. Rocky Mountain spotted fever, I told you about that already. Then rickettsial pox, it is like smallpox where you can see the reddish patches or the spots on the skin. Other spotted fevers, epidemic typhus and murine typhus. What are the symptoms of rickettsial disease? These are the common symptoms for almost all the rickettsial infections. Nausea, vomiting, okay, nausea, weakness, then abdominal pain, encephalitis. Encephalitis, it is an inflammation of the brain due to the infection of the bacteria, usually, and even sometimes virus. Okay, and it will finally, when there is lot of symptoms increases, and at the end stage you can see the Symptoms like confusion, hallucination, seizures, brain seizure, and even loss of sensation can also occur in the, I can say, at the end stages. Okay, then hypotension is also a symptom. Then acute renal failure, kidney failure, and kidney stone may also occur, and respiratory disorders can also be there. So how this particular bacteria will be transmitted? Transmission. Rickettsia species is transmitted by the bite of the infected ticks or mites. Okay, in the first I showed you the diagram of a tick or a mite. Okay, this belongs to the class Insecta, phylum Arthropoda, and kingdom Animalia, and also by the fecus of infected lice or fleas. Even this lice and fleas are also an insect which belongs to phylum Arthropoda. From the portal of entry in the skin, rickettsia spread via the bloodstream to the and infect the endothelium and sometimes the vascular smooth muscle cells. Okay, it entered the skin and then enter into the blood vessel and then causes the infection to the endothelium layer of the different organs of the body and then vascular smooth muscles. That means blood vessels. Then rickettsia enters the target cell, multiply by binary fission into cell cytosol, and damages the heavily parasitized cells directly. Rickettsiosis are difficult to diagnose. Culture requires for viable eukaryotic host cell. So if you want to diagnose whether the infection is caused by the rickettsial species or what, it is very difficult for the diagnosis. Okay, you need a culture. Okay, and in that you need viable eukaryotic host cell, and you also need antibiotic free cell cultures. Without that cultures you can't go for in vitro testing of this particular disease. Then you need embryonated eggs, and then susceptible animals are also needed for the diagnosis of the rickettsia. Confirmation of the diagnosis, they requires comparison of the acute and convalescent phase serum antibody titers. Okay, even though there is a diagnosis, if you want to confirm it again, so that time what you have to do is you need 2 phases of serum antibody in a titration method you have to do. So what is acute phase of a disease and convalescent phase of a disease? I'll tell you the difference between that. Acute phase of a disease, it is a disease where you can see the high instance of the infection. It is an infectious phase, I can say, where you can see the symptoms and the disease is highly spreading in the body and infection is highly spreading. Convalescent phase is a gradual recovery of health after the illness. It is a recovery phase. So you need to collect the serum from the person who is having this particular disease in 2 phases. So ಒಂದು acute phase ಅಲ್ಲಿ collect ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು convalescent phase ಅಲ್ಲಿ collect ಮಾಡಿ, you have to go for titration. This is the confirmation of the diagnosis whether you have a infection by rickettsia or what. Okay, so rickettsia species are susceptible to the broad spectrum antibiotic. These are susceptible to antibiotics like doxycycline, tetracycline, and chloramphenicol. These are the susceptible antibiotics to rickettsial species. A vaccine is also existing for epidemic, but it is not readily available. Okay, next comes your spirochetes. So order Spirochetes, these are spiral shaped bacteria. Okay, the name Spiro is because of the shape of the bacteria. Example of the genera of spirochetes include Spirocheta, Treponema, Borrelia, and Leptospira. These are also gram negative bacteria. Gram negative means, so these have a thin peptidoglycan layer and they have outer lipid membrane. Okay, but both these are absent in case of gram positive bacteria. Spiral, they are motile, that means moving, and spiral shaped, and from 3 to 500 meter long. Okay, 1 meter is equals to 1 m is equals to 0.001 millimeter. Okay, it is not a micron, sorry, not meter, micron. 3 to 500 micron long. Spirochetes are unique in that they have endocellular flagella. Spirochetes are unique that they have endocellular flagella, having flagella inside the cell. Example, axial fibrils or axial filaments are there. These are numbered between 2 and more than 100 per organism. One bacteriadalli 2 filaments flagella irbodu, athwa you can have 100 flagella depending upon the species. Different species will have different number of flagella. So this is the structure of the spirochete bacteria. Here you can see the outer sheath. Okay, and this is the flagellum, and inside that you have a peptidoglycan layer of a cell wall, and then you have cytoplasmic membrane, and inside that you have a cytoplasm. Okay, then each axial fibril attaches at an opposite and winds around the cell body. Okay, cell body is enclosed by an envelope. Here you can see the cell body. Okay, this is covered by an outer sheath in the same. Then spirochetes are found in a liquid environment. ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ liquid environment ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, in like mud, water, blood and lymph. Okay, it needs water having environment. They are typically thriving in anaerobic environments. Okay, so oxygen deprived, so they need oxygen for their survival. In the absence of the oxygen they can thrive. Okay, ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬದುಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ. Coming to the comparison of the spirochetes. Okay, there are different genus. Here you can see Leptospira, and this is Borrelia species, and this is Spirillum. You can see the internal flagella which is present inside, and this is external flagella. This is the structure, outer membrane, spiral cylinder of spirochete. Inside you have the, and these are the flagellum. Okay, this is the cross section of these two. What are the diseases caused by spirochetes? So idrina syphilis, you can have a syphilis. It is a bacterial infection usually spread by the sexual contact that starts as painless sore on genitals and on the mouth. Okay, and then yaws is the second disease. It is a chronic bacterial infection that affects skin, bone and cartilage. And Lyme disease, it is a tick-borne illness caused by bacterium Borrelia burgdorferi. Okay, it is a species. Rash on the skin, flu-like symptoms, joint pain, weakness in the limbs, these are all the common symptoms. Then relapsing fever, so this is a fever which is vector borne and disease caused by bacteria Borrelia infection. Okay, repeated episodes of the fever, muscle pain, joint pain are the symptoms. Why we call this as a relapse ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, so episodes ಅಲ್ಲಿ if it will be there for half an hour, again you don't have a fever, and the next again in the next half an hour you'll be having a fever in episodes. So we call this as a relapsing fever. Next is leptospirosis. This is spread through urine of infected animals. Okay, and the symptoms include high fever, chills, red eyes, vomiting, bleeding, etc. Okay, caused by Leptospira species, is principally a disease of domestic and wild animals, and is a secondary infection of humans. Usually ಇದು ಡೊಮೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯನಿಮಲ್ಸಿಗೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ರಿಕೆಟ್ಸಿಯಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪೈರೋಕೆಟ್ಸ್. So let me tell you once again. So what we have studied today, we have started with the two group of bacterial diseases. First is rickettsia and spirochetes. Rickettsia is also a gram-negative bacteria. Okay, and it is an obligatory parasite. It is causing many diseases, and it is a zoonosis type of disease. And this is the cell which is being infected by the rickettsia bacteria. This red color one are the bacteria, and this is a eukaryotic cell. This is the tick and the lice, which is a vector for this particular disease. Okay, and then we have studied the transmission species. Rickettsia species causes the different disease, these 5 diseases, and then the symptoms, 7 symptoms, and we have studied the transmission, and we have started with spirochetes. Here it is also a gram-negative bacteria, and it is having many flagella inside that, and it causes the disease. These are the 5 diseases which is caused by spirochetes. Okay, and the common symptoms are, every symptoms are common, like flu-like symptoms. You'll be having weakness, numbness, vomiting sensation, and fever, chill, etc. Okay, so with this I will be stopping today's part. In the next part we'll start with particular species of your rickettsia, the transmission of that disease, control, prevention, and the symptoms of the diseases of the different species of rickettsia. Okay, so with this I'll stop today's class. So thank you, students.